welcome to another episode of Are You Not Entertained? We've literally just watched Spurs in the Europa League, and it was a tough watch, I would say. Some bits better than others. But how are you guys?
They drag you down, Jerry. They drag you down.
They do drag, and that team were dragging our boys down, I felt. Dragging them down in terms of quality and in terms of, apart from South Americans. I believe South Americans are stronger up here, always able to turn it on. But Ollie, how have you been? Well, we've all been doing pretty well, but how are you personally?
All right, mate. Yeah, good. Much like last week, mate. I'm just busy working. Haven't really got much time for anything else, if I'm honest. Trying to follow all the transfer gossip and whatnot, all of the big news going on in the sporting world, which I'm sure we'll come on to later. But yeah, pretty relaxed. Yeah, nothing major for me really. Unfortunately, pretty samey for me.
And Pete, anything major apart from watching Spurs in the Europa League?
No, my life is incredibly boring apart from that. No, same as I was, to be fair. Work's busy. What with all the new regulations and rules and such the like. So, yeah, trying to keep on top of that. But I'm always excited to film a pod.
Yeah, exactly. It brings you back up. Good for the mental health. And I would say, you mentioned the new rules. I've been a little bit worried. So first things first, world of sport, and one thing we'll talk about is the fact that Orient game got cancelled, which concerned me because I thought to myself, it's probably not going to be an isolated issue, particularly in the Cup. We obviously paid for them to have these tests. It was our idea to do so, and then springs out lots of players coming with Corona. Testing positive with Corona, and then West Ham as well, with the Moyes having it and a couple of players. I started to get a little bit fearful, thinking I can't lose football again. Don't take that from me, because I need it. I need it to get exciting. We're about the King coming back, and then we might even get to see him play. What if it took away sport? So, I mean, I don't believe it'll be the case. Fingers crossed, but just a little worry came a moment. Yeah, let's talk about a couple of things. I mean, we say the world of sport. We're just going to keep it to Tottenham really today. The Orient game was cancelled. Did we think it'd go any other way? Do we think that it should be a bye? How would they play it? When would they play it? Pete, I'll come to you first. What are you thinking?
Well, my first thought was that we paid them off. That was genuinely my first thought. Was we've got a hideous run of games. Let's bung Lane and Orient some money. And I saw someone else tweet it after I thought it, and someone replied with 12 people got COVID, you arsehole. And I thought, actually, yeah, fair enough. That's pretty nasty. Because you do forget that it has killed so many people. So I did feel a little bit guilty afterwards. But I mean, it's a blessing in disguise for us, really, because we had a run of games that was mental. And I always feel like the FA don't protect teams as well as other countries do. I always think like when PSG play in the Europa League, they play in the Champions League, they play on the Friday night normally, give themselves an extra couple of games so that the French FA give them extra time to recover, ready for their games, to look after their teams better, and we don't do that. Yeah, I was a little bit worried about it. I mean, it's going to kill the domestic competitions, I think. If they say you've had this many cases of COVID, you can't play a game, it's a bye for the other team, because they're not getting tested as regularly as the Premier League team. So it could potentially kill the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup, really, if it happens more than once. But we'll see. But yeah, like I say, a bit of luck for us. I think probably we'll get a bye, because I just don't see when they fit it in otherwise, which is gutting for them. Although I did see a thing that loads of Spurs fans have been chipping into their charity and buying and donating shirts, which I think is wicked, which is nice.
Yeah, I think I saw they actually sold out all of the shirts they had.
Yeah.
Did they?
Mental,
That's
yeah.
cool.
So it was 25 grand, was it? 20 grand or something?
Yeah, kids and adults.
Yeah, which is mental. Yeah, fair play to the Spurs fans that bought a shirt. Good on you. Good on you, really. But yeah, I think, like you said, Pete, it has to be a bye. The laws state that it has to be a bye. The rules are very clear at the start. If a team has to withdraw from the game due to COVID, then the other team get a bye. It doesn't matter that it's Spurs, it doesn't matter that it's Orient. It is what it is. And I'm sure as a club we'll help Orient out. It feels like they're our like little club, if that makes sense, that we sort of look after. Obviously with the links as well with just in Edinburgh, just make it that bit extra special for us to sort of look after them a little bit. So I think we'll give them some money, I imagine, but if we're allowed to. I know there's been problems in the past where games have been moved and stuff, and we were almost forced by the rules to take gate money off another team, which I think is just mental. Because again, the rules stipulate that if the home team have to reimburse the away team any travel monies. So it'd be mental if they had to pay us. But end of the day, ended up being quite a good shout from the Spurs board, whoever decided to pay for the testing, because essentially saved us a lot of problems. Because imagine that got into what our players, we've got to pull out of our Europa League game, Premier League game, or what have you, then it's an absolute nightmare. So it'll be a good test as well that the teams and the leagues have got their protocols right. Because if they have, it shouldn't spread past where it spread. Do you know what I mean? That's what another little test potentially for them there. So providing they've got everything right, it shouldn't be an issue. Which is why I think football's allowed to carry on. So I think it will be okay, unless it gets really out of control. But we'll see.
Absolutely. I did read that we are giving them money. We're paying them we're giving them the exact amount of money they would have got if the game was played, if like fans were going.
Nice.
So yeah, I read that's all set up and that is happening. So that's a nice touch from us.
We've not had confirmation yet, have we? Sorry, just.
So maybe that's the payoff that Pete's talking about, and that's how we got them to do it.
It wasn't actually. They weren't actually Orient players. They were just 18 blokes that just turned up.
Get in there.
You're next.
And positive.
What else is going on in the world then, Jez?
Well, Dele Alli. Dele's the main talking point, isn't he? Whenever they seem to flick Sky on, they're talking about whether he's in or he's out and sort of dissecting Mourinho's quotes. And at first, he was quite candid, wasn't he? He was kind of, I just want the squad to puzzle. I just want a balanced squad, I think was what he said. When asked if he wants Dele to still be around, never actually said yes, never said no. So he was quite careful. But then a more recent interview I just saw, maybe even today, I'm pretty sure he said that he was like, I'm certain Dele will still be here.
Yeah.
So I think it's a bit of a test. I mean, what do you guys think? With Dele, would it be the end of the world? Would you look to loan him out? Would you want to loan him out? Would you want to sell him? Would you want to keep him? What would you be looking to do? Let's go. Ollie, you first for the Cowboy.
For me, before we talk about him in particular, about Dele, I think the whole thing is
about Dele.
No, hang on. The whole thing is mental on how big a news this actually is, because every top team leaves out players. Everyone plays. He's missed 2 games. He's not been sent to the reserves. You know what I mean? It's completely normal. You look at your Man City, your Chelsea. They've got players riding the bench all the time. But because it's Mourinho, because it's Spurs, it's news. And I don't think it needs to be news. He's not playing well. Shouldn't be playing. Simple as that for me. He's not shown any reason he should be playing this season above a Lo Celso, above a Lamela. You know, he's not shown that he deserves to play, so he shouldn't be playing. It's simple as that. It's not talking about how good or bad he is. That he just doesn't deserve to play. And that's Mourinho is all about earn your place in training, and that's it. But Poch is the same, which is kind of strange. But I know Poch. I think he said that playing the game is the privilege. The training is where you earn your stripes and you earn your place. And the game's a bonus. But interesting. If we sold him, I would probably wouldn't be too bothered. He strikes me as a luxury player. Like when things are going really well, he's great to have, and when they're not, he's not great to have. He's a target all the time. But for me, I just think it's news, but it shouldn't be news for me.
But would you, if you could choose, keep, sell, or loan him out? What would you do?
If he wasn't going to kick up a massive stink that I think he would do, I'd keep him. But if not, loan.
Interesting. And Pete, what do you think?
I don't know what to think with Dele anymore. I mean, he when he burst onto the scene, he was unbelievable. I think I said before, I feel like he's been found out a little bit. When I saw that PSG were linked to him, I was thinking, that's nuts. Like, have you even watched him play the last year and a half, 2 years. Like, imagine Mbappe and Neymar playing in front of Dele Alli, making runs every time he gets the ball and then not getting the ball. You'd be fuming. Like, he's just, I don't know. I think if I was choosing, he's a good option from the bench, but I think, like Ollie says, I think he can be a bit poisonous in the dressing room, in my opinion. Obviously, I don't see it all behind the scenes, but I feel like he's got that in him. Like, if he's not playing, a bit like Danny Rose in the documentary kicking up a shitstorm, I feel like he could do the same. And so for him to not be on the bench, for him to be on the bench and not do that, it's not going to happen. So I think for me, I'd sell him. I think I don't know what he does well apart from his ghost runs. I haven't seen him produce stuff for a long time. But yeah, he's a funny one because I like him so much. He's such a likable character, and I want him to do well. And he's just gone off the ball. I also don't see how he fits in at the minute, because it looks like we want to play a 4-3-3, and where does he play in that? I saw Danny Murphy said on Match of the Day he needs to change his role and play deeper in that 3. I couldn't see him in there. He'd drive me up the wall in there. I just couldn't do all of it. Yeah, what are you thinking, Jez?
I agree with he can't play centre mid. He just can't do it. He needs to be the striker in the hole, making the go. Like you say, he's great at a ghost run. He's a poor man's Muller for me. Like Thomas Muller is that kind of
great description of Dele Alli.
I think that's what he is. Muller, and we've said it before, boys. Like, what's he good at? What's he actually good at?
Yeah.
Same thing. Finding his way into the box, popping up in exactly the right place and scoring. But the thing is, Muller also gets assists, but so does Dele. Dele will get assists and goals. But you're thinking, well, why? Because you put him into a centre mid role and he gets found out. Oh, I'm not very good at passing. I'm not actually that great at dribbling. I don't see the game that well. What he sees is a run and he goes, and if someone finds him, then it's very useful. But apart from that, and he's on the ball, he doesn't see a picture. He doesn't understand how to play and how to make the game flow. We've just watched that Europa League game. I'm not even going to try and say what that team's name was. Can anyone give me a shot? Who's got? Ollie, you tried to do it earlier. Go on.
And it didn't go well. There's far too many J's and T's and V's and that. There's too many. It's not a word.
We'll call them the Pride of Macedonia.
Yeah, I like that. The Pride of Macedonia, I like that as well.
What a club. But yeah, Dele played obviously for an hour. When Gio comes on, and he's just sharper. He's just 10 times sharper. He gets the ball, decision made, sees a picture, knows exactly what he wants to do, creates, make things happen. We were saying he's the pass before the assist. He is the assister of the assister. And that is, and you need a player like that because they actually make it happen. That you could arguably say that was the harder pass each time for the games in Southampton as well. But yeah, I just think if I had the choice of Dele, I would loan him out this season. I wouldn't keep him. I'd loan him out. The reason I'd loan him out is a bit of a gamble. Either he goes out and he does really well and he comes back better and just comes back and he becomes a good option again, a Thomas Muller option. Or he goes out and he plays okay and then COVID hopefully runs its course and you could sell him for a bit more. Clubs are less likely to pay a lot of money at the minute. But then again, like Ollie said, if he got sold, I wouldn't be that bothered. I see a lot of Spurs fans on Twitter kicking up a storm, like, "Oh, who's Jose to get rid of Dele? Dele's been here for years." What are we talking about? Like, Jose's coming in. We're mere mortals, really, and we can disagree with some of the things he does. But if he decides that a player who's been playing pretty crap for 3 years is surplus to requirements, why are you kicking up a storm?
Yeah.
For what reason? Especially when everyone is putting on Twitter that they want to see a midfield free that he's not in. Why are you moaning so much when no one wants him to start? Like, it just winds me up sometimes. I have to admit, when I saw him up leaving for a split second, I was like, oh no, that's Dele. We like him, like you said, Pete. We like him as a character. But then, for like 2 minutes later, I was thinking, no, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
What I find as well is that obviously players have Sky Sports News and what have you on in the background all the time. And all of the media coverage of Mourinho is always a bad thing. And that must leak into it must affect it. Because if all you see about, what a bad decision that was, he dropped Dele, he dropped this, he dropped that. If that is you, if you're the player they're talking about, you're going to be like, yeah, they're right. I should be playing that. And that almost causes some of the problems I think Mourinho has as well. It's just the media just have it out for him. It's like blatantly obvious. It is scary how much he gets talked about in all sorts. But he sells papers. He gets clicks. He gets likes. And it can't be fun to be Mourinho, to be fair. Because everyone's waiting to fail.
He brings it on himself. Like when he interrupts Sonny's interview the other day.
Yeah, it's a bit weird.
Yeah, that was bad.
Some people are going to look at that and think, what a dick. And I have to admit, I didn't like that. I just thought it was pointless. Like, it didn't really do anything. It didn't motivate anyone. And why are you so desperate to crowbar yourself into that interview? I'm here as well. And I've got a big opinion that I'm throwing down. And that's what he did too. There's just no need for it. So I think he also likes the idea of the world against us. And he trusts his boys around him and buy into that. So I wouldn't feel sorry for him. But I also think, the media love it. He loves it. I think it's all part of a wheel that carry on turning. Right, well, we'll talk about the Europa League game against the team that no one knows.
The pride of Macedonia, Ollie.
Pride of Macedonia. And we'll see, the goal from their boy was...
Special.
Not too much to talk about. I mean, Sonny got 2 assists in the goal, carried on his really good form. I think my assessment was we went 1-0 up and then we went, these are crap, rubbish pitch, not really getting up for this one. Especially with no fans, I don't think that helps in these sort of games. There's no fans to get you going. You can hear Mourinho the whole time trying to encourage people to play. And all I really took from it was, we relaxed too much after going 1-0 up. They equalised. Then we brought on Gio and Kane later on. Mora came on as well, but he done well for the goal. But apart from that, the 3 of them were a bit more up for it. And with that, Sonny stepped up as well. Like, okay, Kane and Gio are in there, they're playing. Okay, I'll step up too, and we got the job done. I thought Lamela played pretty well because he never really switches off. He's just 100%, 100 mile an hour permanently.
All the time.
And then exactly. And you can get it easy in Macedonia, either. All I thought, maybe Tanguy getting 90 minutes was good as well. But job done. Little scare. Probably should have been easier. Pete, what did you think?
My biggest bugbear with it is I hate so much when we play an awful team and we should just comfortably win and then we have to bring Kane on. It drives me up the wall. It's like, I hate how over-reliant we are on him. It's the same when we play and then we're on Match of the Day and they go, today we're going to do a bit on Harry Kane. And then the week after, we're going to do a bit on Harry Kane. And as much as I love him, and the boy is a talent, there's no doubt about it, he's world class. I just wish we could do things without him. I really wish we should just got that over the line easily. And actually, if you brought in a second striker and had done it earlier, you could have brought him off the bench if you needed to, or even just started with him and had an actual proper goal for it. As good as Sonny is, But it was one of those ones, wasn't it? It was less scary than the last time out. Obviously, they equalised and we stepped up a little bit more and the intensity was raised again. But I hate those games. They just drag you down. Like you said, the pitch was awful. You get dragged down to their level. They get a goal and their tails are up all of a sudden. And you could see that they were feeling a little bit of the pressure. There was a 20-minute spell, maybe a bit less before the goal, where we just kept giving ball away. And it's like, oh, God, I didn't miss this. This is like when we were first back in the Europa League and we were playing awful teams. It's just like... But like I say, job done. That's all we needed to do. On to the next one. Isn't there one more qualifying round? And then, although I think didn't they say the teams we might have a little bit of a step up, like Rostov or Maccabi Haifa or something we might have?
Yeah, Rostov lost. So playing the Israeli team at home, you'd think that's probably the better option of the two. I think Rostov got a red card. They played with 10 men for a long time. So they got done, I think. Yeah, I saw the Alistair goal put it on there. But I think, going back to the game tonight, what you said there, Pete, was spot on. Son's not a striker, playing against a team who are going to sit deep. No chance. He's got no chance. But it's no coincidence he goes on the left, gets a goal and assist. I appreciate he got an assist at the start, but still, it's to the point where it's a joke now. We haven't got another striker. I know that we link with everybody and anybody, and I understand that they don't want to they get their pants pulled down. But again, Kane is going to get injured, and then our season's ruined almost again.
Yeah.
And it's a massive risk, and I don't understand for the sake of how much it would be, 5 million, 10, I don't know, which is a lot of money, but we're a big club, that's not a lot of money to us. It shouldn't be a problem. But for whatever reason, dragging our feet once again, and hopefully it doesn't result in an injury to Kane, but it very much may well do.
Very well.
Very well may do. And then we've got another 4 games next week. We've got, assuming we get a bye, if not, we'll potentially play Orient on Tuesday, depending on how they do it. I would assume that if we get the bye, it'll be straight to Chelsea. And it'll be Newcastle, Chelsea, Europa League tie, and then United on Sunday, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
which, by the way, we are guaranteed to lose because it is just before an international break, and we always lose before the international break.
Pessimistic.
Love it.
We do every time.
And Dombele got 90 minutes. The first time he's got 90 minutes since the 28th of December.
There's our stat.
That's a stat. That is a stat.
Stats, huh? Yeah, so I'm really pleased for him. I said to you boys in the little group chat, I think it was about the 75th minute, something like that. He's chased all the way back from our half, won a header, flicked out, and I just sort of went, yes, Tanga, he's back. He's proved Mourinho wrong, and he's going to be the best player in the league.
Or has he proved right?
A slight over-exaggeration there, but it's going to happen, guys. Just so you all know. You heard it here first.
I believe you.
Stepping up. He's stepping up. Let's talk about a more enjoyable game. I mean, both games.
Did you say so?
What did you just say?
I said, would you say so?
Yeah, I would say it's a more enjoyable game. I mean, yes, it was nice to win 3-1, but it's always better to win the Prem, and it was more exciting. So, again, though, second half much better than the first. But let's talk about the Southampton game. I'm not going to say my piece yet. I'm going to go straight to someone else. So we'll go to Ollie first because we won, and we're happy.
You won. I think
I'm happy too.
Quite lucky. I was very happy to win, but I think we were quite lucky to win as well. Because Southampton had some unbelievable chances they missed, and it could have been out of sight in the first half, realistically. I think Che Adams had 2 that he literally hit straight at Lloris, which Ings probably scores. So I think as much as we played well in the second half and we ripped them apart on the counter, which is clearly the game plan, I also thought we were slightly lucky because at half time I was not convinced we were going to win. And we scored literally right before half time, which say we didn't do that. We might be struggling, but obviously a win's a win. We look fantastic on the counter, which is a proper Mourinho style game, wasn't it? We sit back, absorb pressure, hope they don't score, and then rip them apart at the other end. Obviously, Kane got man of the match, according to Jose and everyone else. It's quite hard to score 4 goals, but I think he was spot on in what he said that Kane did almost take that responsibility in the second game, and he dropped in and just put balls on plate for Son pretty much all game. Apart from the first one that I thought was a dreadful pass that Sonny then saved. But overall, I'm pleased, but I'm not getting carried away because I don't think it was an unbelievable performance. I thought it was okay, and we won.
Oh, I think I'm going to be more positive than that. Go on, Pete.
I might even be more positive than that.
I'm a changed man.
I'll be honest. The first, we started pretty sharp actually. We started all right. Kane had one disallowed offside, which was tight.
He did.
But after that, after about 10, 15 minutes, we just didn't really know what to do with Southampton. They played in a really interesting way. And they literally almost played a 4-2-2-2. And it was really difficult to pick up because they played with 2 holders. And then their 2 wide men just came central a lot and picked up his pockets, and they could push wide from that. And then you had your 2 up front as well. So we really struggled to pick that up. And it just felt a little bit like the Everton game. We were really struggling enough. Oh, here we go again. Danny Ings, by the way, took his goal really well.
Oh, what a finish.
And also, what a little clip from Kyle Walker-Peters. Lovely little clip from Kyle Walker-Peters as well.
Yes.
But then obviously Tanguy does amazingly for the first goal. And that's what you want to see him doing. Just because he similar to Dembele, but in a really different way, in that he likes to get touch tight to people and turn them.
Goes.
Yeah, did brilliantly. And then I actually think it was more than. I don't think it was just we played to go on the counter in the second half. I honestly believe Mourinho realised how high they were. And Kane is so good at picking the ball up and playing passes. And it wasn't like we did sit back and spring. We did play football. And like Gio come on and it like you were saying about the assist for the assist, fizzed it into Kane's feet for the second one. And he slipped Sonny, clipped it to Lamella for one of them, and then he hit the post and Kane scored and stuff. Yeah, I thought we looked good second half. I think to say we just played on the counter is a little bit harsh, actually, Ollie, on your part. Doesn't often happen that way around, but yeah, I'm with you though. I am 100% with you. We can't get carried away, because you've literally gone dog dirt against Everton, a really good second half against Southampton, Newcastle at home, which we lost last year. So let's see what happens. But never underestimate momentum. I think momentum in football is massive, and to go win is big. So let's see what happens. Jez, what are you thinking?
Yeah, that is it. I think momentum is huge. Like, if we'd have gone and lost that game against Southampton, all the excitement of like Bale coming in and how buzzing we were on the last recording would just burst. Would have just been ruined and just almost decimated in that one moment. So at half time, I was thinking, oh, just going to ruin us. Like, even though we've got the goal for, they're just going to destroy it, take away all our excitement and kill it. But no, I took a fair few things from the game. I mean, first of all, I was buzzing to see us play 4-3-3. And my was that it was 4-3-3, even if sometimes Tanguy went a little bit higher and it could have been maybe seen as a 4-2-3-1. But I think as a whole, it was a 4-3-3. There's a bit of debate on that online from different fans. So I was really excited to see us play that way. And we were speaking about the sort of Liverpool style, and Kane did become that Firmino character and excelled in it, because he goes and gets himself 4 assists, and some of the passes were special. Yeah, the first one was average. But he first timed it with his left foot, so you can forgive him. And then the other ones were just outrageous. I mean, really fantastic slip. The one where he just has a little look and then crosses it, that's a stupid pass.
Yeah. He loves that part. He's done quite a few of them as well.
The only other player who can play it in the Prem, in my opinion, is De Bruyne. No one else is thinking that quickly and playing that pass to that level. I don't think anyone else does that apart from him, apart from KDB. So Kane was spectacular. Sonny's finishing was ridiculous, so clinical. And the noise it makes when it hits the net is so lovely and so every single time. But yeah, all I wrote when I was watching the game that I wanted to talk about was the fact that we played 4-3-3. We seemed to be setting up for Reguilon to come in, because both fullbacks were going forward. Davis has been told, seemingly, that he's allowed to go. I thought second half we were better as well, because Højbjerg, despite not needing to be as involved, he became the one who was holding more, which is what we want to happen. So he could naturally become in the third centre-back. And Kane was able to drift in. Sonny was able to run in behind. Mora didn't seem smart enough to run in behind. At the same time as not protecting his fullback. So it was just pointless in me. I think in our ratings that was, but I also thought in our ratings, although at the time I thought they were fine, I think we're a little bit harsher on Gio, because the more I think about it, the better he was. Like he came on it again, he just made things happen. But yeah, I was really positive, really positive, pretty ridiculously so, because all I could think about was, yeah, we're 4-3-3, gun ho, attacking team. Wait till the king comes on that right side, ship more out, and we're busting. So yeah, maybe I got a bit over the top. So we've kind of changed places in the way, haven't we? So we've gone back. Yeah. I've become the most positive. Pete, you've become middle ground, and Ollie, you've gone to the back. So
I would like to say, in my defence, that I have a couple of other observations that I'd like to talk about. One being how unbelievable Harry Kane is, and you won't find many teams where he's your striker is your best striker, and also your best number 10, which is mental. But you mentioned Højbjerg, which reminded me actually that I felt in the first half we saw a lot of Højbjerg, and it's no coincidence. In the second half, we saw less of him, but played better. Because I think that's kind of what he does. He does the things that you don't notice that he does. Yeah. And it makes the whole team better. And like I said, he definitely was sort of really took command of that this is my position. I'm anchoring here, and you boys just go off me. And it certainly felt like he was involved less, but we played better. If that kind of makes sense.
I actually thought he started really well.
I played well. I definitely played
well.
well.
No, but like at the start of the game, I thought he'd already looked better in the first 5-10 minutes than he did the whole game against Everton. And then when we started to drift as a team, he looked worse. And then when, like you say, when he went in, sat in the pivot and the anchor, we looked a lot better. And you're right, you did see less of him, but we looked better as a team, which is good. And it's nice to see that shape. We've all been desperate for him to play 4-3-3. Next step, Gio and Tanguy on for the same minutes. That's what we want.
Well, they both played tonight, didn't they? And we looked all right. We kept the ball. There was no fear of us ever losing the ball in that midfield, was there, with those two are playing? And very excited. I'm excited for Ndombele. I'm excited for Bale. I'm excited for Lucas to be on the bench or somewhere else. And attacking left back. Reguilon's going to be a beast, I hope. So it'll be good. Very good.
He's going to be massive. Talking about Tanguy and Lo Celso, this is another thing I wrote down. Strangely taking notes. I don't normally. I'll leave you two to take the notes and we plan. But I was taking a few notes, and one of the things I was sort of right as if I was managing the side, I would set up in the sort of 4-3-3 most of the time. My thinking, though, being that there will be games to play the 2 and the 1. Or even a 3 where it is more Liverpool-like of just industry in there. And there will be games to have Tanguy and Lo Celso both on the pitch. I don't think always I sort of come around to thinking. I mean, games where we're struggling to break teams down, which we've seen. Teams that stay a bit deeper, teams that make our lives harder. Brilliant. Start Tanguy and Gio, and you should know as a manager like Mourinho which games that should be. And then games where it's going to be a lot more difficult. Let's say we're playing Liverpool, City, the bigger sides, and we're looking to counter-attack. Need a bit more legs. Maybe we don't start Tanguy in those games. Gio probably always does. And I think there'll be games for Tanguy in and out as he grows as well. So I think it will be a bit of a development for him. But for Gio, just play him because he could just be playing all the time. He's huge. He looks like the main man for me to move forward at the minute.
He's not missed a beat, is he? Because he literally played 2.5 games.
No, exactly.
Like missed a beat. Yeah. Unbelievable from the boy.
Right, boys, it's time for a debut on the pod. Not a person, but a new project, if you will. So we've been talking about it. We've been thinking about it. We want to add something to the show. And Peter, what is it time for?
Jerry, it's time for that 6-a-side segment.
Yes, it's that 6-a-side segment. And we'll be doing one every week, one every pod. We'll be choosing a 6-a-side of Spurs players, old and new. You can go for however far back you want. I mean, but me personally, it's pretty much Premier League era. I think we're all the same, aren't we, boys? Premier League era, our bread and butter. We don't really know much further back than that. Apologies to the golden oldies. But this week, we chose to do 6-a-side of the worst players you've seen play for Tottenham. And there were some choices.
I think it's important to add, Jerry, that the 6-a-side rules are as follows. 1 goalie, 2 defenders, 2 midfielders and a striker. And they have to have played a decent amount of games for Spurs to make it in.
I might have already cheated by it, just so everybody knows. I mean, I hope you're ready for this, Pete. A touch of cheating here. 3 goalies I've got on board. I'm just playing. Right. So we'll go through it. I think we'll do each position and we'll roll through. If I go first each time, Ollie, then you, and then Pete, and then we'll move on.
I'm happy.
Sounds good.
Keepers first. I wonder if people were on the same as me. I went for Aurelio Gomez as the worst goalie. Keeping in mind, like, players who haven't played that much, we aren't really going to choose, or if they've played that one.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about who. Was it Radek Cherny who then...
Radek Cherny.
Yeah.
What he did, but no, I thought who caused me more pain? Not just in one moment, probably.
I also went for Aurelio Gomez as well. I was tempted by the Croatian lad, Pletikosa, something like his name was.
Pletikosa.
I'm not sure he actually played for us, so going by the rules, he couldn't be in my worst 11. But you've got to assume if you couldn't get another Gomez, he must have been pretty bad. But yeah, Pete.
3 for Gomez.
3 for Gomez.
He's in. He's made the team.
Easy
Congratulations, Aurelio.
Well done, Gomez. Dead set.
Come on.
Oh, he was a good character as well. He was a good character.
Yeah, he was.
Defenders. The first one I put down, and I think he could end up in a few for me, was Goran Bunjacevic. I remember, even as a kid, watching him just tearing my hair out. And he was just an awful player. But yeah, he was my first pick. We doing one defender, or we going to do both defenders?
Let's do both.
No, actually, move on because I need to remember who the other one was.
Oh, cheers. So my duo at the back. So we did say we have to be careful about. Otherwise, I only end up picking like central defenders and no fullback, etc., etc. So the two that I've gone for are Federico Fazio and Zeki Friars.
Fazio was my other one.
Oh, you got Fazio as well. Fazio's in there because he was just not very good, obviously. At the turning circle of a big bus, bless him. Very tall and somehow got a career with AS Roma. I don't know how he managed that. And then Zeki Friars I put in there because I was quite excited for him. We did some ridiculous thing. We agreed with, I can't remember who it was, to buy him from United. And then we then bought him from them. And there's this big thing outside he was going to be. And then he was absolutely crap. And it seems like a waste of time. So unfortunately, Zeki, that's why he made it into my team, mate.
Fair enough. I've gone third vote for Federico Fazio.
Yeah, another starter.
Get in, boys, in. And I've also gone for another centre-half. I've gone for walking on the beaches, Super Vlad Chiriches, because
Vlad.
He was terrible. So we need to have a vote. Who's going to make it in next to Fazio? Is it going to be Vlad, Goran, or Zeki?
You can't pick your own.
Okay.
Pick your own. Hopefully we don't just get another.
Well, to be fair,
I would go for Vlad as well because
Vlad is in.
Price doesn't bother me that much, but Chiriches, he's got a good shout.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that Fazio and Chiriches were a defensive pair that we actually saw play at the same time, which is slightly concerning. But hey,
was Gomez behind him at any point? Do you think?
I think that these are Poch signings, weren't they? Unfortunately.
No, you are right. Because otherwise, we had the base. we had it there ready.
I'll tell you what, Vlad did score that unbelievable goal. I think against Fulham when he had his mask on, and we thought. Yeah. This could be him, and it was like back Vlad, wasn't it? And it didn't work.
Lewis Holtby scored a worldie in that game as well, I remember.
He did. I was so excited for Lewis Holtby. Oh, it could have been
No, right. I don't want him in the worst team.
No, right. Come on in. Midfielders.
As I say, I may have cheated here. So one of my midfielders is actually Helder Postiga.
It's filthy cheating.
That is unbelievable cheating.
On the wing. Lord wasn't doing it up top. So I'm on the wing. But my other one is he's certainly a midfielder and I just hate him. Danny Murphy. I just think he's a massive prick.
Who? Danny Murphy?
Massive prick. And I just remember every time I watched him just being like, oh, shut up. You could see he was always moaning, always like giving it to the chirping in his ear and just crap when he was playing for us. He was useless. He was dead out, and he was still moaning at everyone. He just did my head in, and I still hate him now. And I watch him on Match Day. I just think, you say that about him.
So good.
I watched you play for my club. So yeah, I mean, he might have been a better player back in the day, but when I watched him for Spurs, I just thought he was shit. So he got the nod, and then Helder Postiga's made a bit cheeky, but for him as well.
Yeah, my two are I've gone for Benjamin Stambouli and Clinton and G are my two. And G's another one. I think he played like once or twice, but it was rubbish. I think he got in some issues, didn't he, off the pitch as well? I think he had some a scandal of some form. I'm sure something like that. Yeah, Stambouli was truly dreadful. He's actually moved to Schalke now because I like to look at my players, see where they are now. You see.
Nice.
But he's playing as a centre half for Schalke, who lost 8-0 to Bayern Munich on the opening weekend. So what does that tell you? So Benjamin, mate, you weren't the good as a midfielder, bud, and you might not bother being a centre back either. But hey ho.
Okay, my two. One of them is a current Spurs player.
Ooh.
And and I've put him in there, and I know you'll probably say he doesn't deserve to be in there, but nobody gets on my wick as much as Moussa Sissoko when he gets on the ball and doesn't know what to do with it. It drives me up the wall. The man cannot play football. He is an athlete. Get him out of my team. My second one, I've gone for maybe slightly cheeky because I'm not sure how many games he actually played for Spurs, but I've gone for Milenko Asimovic because he was pony. And I'm pretty sure he has one of the worst misses of all time for Spurs. I seem to remember him missing one from like 2 yards out and somehow coming off the bottom of his studs and going over the bar or something. So, yeah, he's in.
So we've got...
It's a tough one. All got different players.
Yeah, I think I'm happy to... I'd forgotten about Stambouli, so I'm very happy to put him straight in, especially as he's shipping 8 goals a week at Schalke at centre-half.
Benji is
Stambouli in.
Stambouli's a good shout. Do you know, Pete, I thought he was going to pick Nabil Bentaleb. I remember...
I forgot about Bentaleb.
He would have been a good one.
Another one, he's at Schalke as well, isn't he?
He is. Poor Schalke.
Yeah, I thought you would have thrown him in. I think I'm happy for Asimovic because just the memory of that miss is so strong.
I was also quite happy with Danny Murphy as well because I did debate Danny Murphy.
Oh, did you?
But let's go for Asimovic just for that miss.
Yes.
Sorry, mate.
Murphy's probably giving us saying horrible things to Asimovic for years.
Yeah, just probably ask us to change our roles in the pod or something.
Yeah.
Not a fan of the pod, and he'll never be asked to be on here either. Let me tell you that.
And to the most important role within the team, Jez.
This is true. But anyone out there who's a fan of Danny Murphy is not a fan of the pod. Let me tell you.
All right, centre forward, hit me.
I've already said one, haven't I? But I went for Janssen.
Oh,
that's fair.
He scored a couple of penalties, didn't he? But he come with actually like a decent enough record. And looked like a good backup striker and just fucking woeful. But yeah, just dreadful. So yeah, he was. You could easily have Postiga up there as well. So I've kind of given you 2 striking options.
He cheated.
He did cheat. I was really torn on this one because I'll tell you the 2 options that I had, and then I'll tell you why I'm thinking. So I've gone for Gregor Raziak and Roberto Soldado.
Oh, I so wanted him to do well.
Now, Soldado is one that I was so excited for. I absolutely loved him. I thought he was great. And I don't know if he was bad or it was really unfortunate that he just didn't score. But just because of pure sadness on my part, I've actually gone for Soldado. Just because it just breaks my heart when I think about him. And maybe it's harsh putting him in the worst team, but I kind of had to do it. I'm sorry, Bobby. I absolutely adore you. I generally never wanted a player to succeed more than Soldado. And I think he scored a goal, I want to say Everton or something.
It was against Everton, yes.
It was a proper tap-in. And I remember being on the train, standing up, going back to uni, and I cheered on the train. I was so happy that he scored. One of the few times he did score, I have to add as well. But yeah, unfortunately, Bobby goes in.
Well, I'm telling you, he's not getting in above my guy. Are you ready? For Sergei Rebrov.
Oh, Rebrov. What a man.
Absolutely awful. And I know it was probably just a rumour, but I seem to recall people going, we could have had him or Shevchenko, and we went for Rebrov. I think Glenn Hoddle brought him in, and just awful. Just an awful, awful footballer. Just didn't do anything. So there he is. We've got a vote to take.
What?
I'll go Rebrov.
Oh, I think it should be Janssen, but I can't pick. I'm not picking Soldado because he actually.
No, I don't want Soldado to go in. He doesn't deserve it.
he came and he's meant to be a fox in the box, and I'll give you this one, that from expectation level, it's the biggest difference. But he came as like a natural, absolute thoroughbred goal scorer, and really played as a really good hold-up man, didn't he? Like his build-up, massive. He just couldn't.
He ended up being a very good number 10 for some weird reason. Which isn't what we bought him for. So I don't know, maybe I'm being harsh. Maybe I should have stuck with Raziak, but something just swayed me to Bobby. I think it's sadness.
Right, it's going to be Rebrov then. It's going to be Rebrov.
Yeah. So then,
let's hear the team.
The ultimate
six-a-side
worst
segment.
Yeah, the worst players we have ever seen play for Spurs. This six-a-side team would not do very well. We have Aurelio Gomez in goal, Federico Fazio and Vlad Chiriches holding down the fort from the back. We've got Benjamin Stambouli and Asimovic. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Probably
in the midfield, and then we've got Rebrov leading the line in Harry Kane-esque style.
Well, that was fun. I enjoyed that. I look forward to next week's one.
What a team. What are we doing next week?
Ooh.
Let's put out a poll on Twitter.
Okay, I like it.
I like that, and we'll find out. We'll give some options. Let's not let them choose all by themselves. But we'll do some options, and then we'll go from there. And I like it. And that they're ending that six-a-side segment.
All right.
Come on. Right, let's talk transfers. So, to finish up, boys, I think we will just do a little bit of outgoings and incomings. There's obviously been a bit of talk, Skriniar being the biggest one. That one looks generally exciting. But aside from that, if I'm looking at yourselves, and I'm guessing we'll all be thinking backup striker. Or I don't even like to call it backup striker. I think that's been one of the biggest problems, that we're all openly backup striker, and that obviously gets in the heads of the players, and then you don't want to come for that. So I think backup striker is the big one, but for me, centre back is more important. So if Skriniar comes and we didn't actually get a backup striker, I actually wouldn't be as upset as I thought I would be. So I think you'll be of a different opinion. Ollie, what are you thinking? What are you looking for? Who would you want to bring in? And who would you want to get rid of as well? Because we do need to get players out of the door. Our squad is too big. It's too big now. The wages must be becoming a problem.
Yeah, I mean, in a dream scenario, I'd love to see us get Skriniar and Belotti. They would be the two that I think they would probably make us like realistic challengers towards the top of the table, I think Skriniar looks very possible. I think that's, there's been pictures of Steve Hitchin in Milan with either Inter representatives or Skriniar's representatives. So that could be really interesting because he could be a monster. He was very good in a back four and just not very good in a back three. So it'd be interesting to see what they do. If Mourinho is planning to play a three, Skriniar might not be the best choice, but I would certainly prefer him to Ruben Diaz from Benfica. Something about, I don't know, whenever I've watched him, I just got a feeling that he's a very hyped up player for not much reason, potentially. I'm not sold on him, whereas on Skriniar, I'm very, when I've seen him play, he's looked fantastic. He's powerful in the air, he's big, he's commanding, and he can play a pass as well, which is nice. But yeah, I think for me, it'd be Skriniar. We could get Belotti. Again, that's probably a money problem, though. So there's a lot of talk of Milik. Again, I'd definitely take. But injury record's not great. The last thing we want to do is replace Kane with an injury-prone striker. That wouldn't be helpful, would it? But aside from that, we've been linked to a couple of Benfica players, haven't we? Seferovic and whatever guy's name is, but another striker from Benfica. So yeah, and then quite a lot of that. Edouard at Celtic as well. I think I quite wouldn't mind him as well if the money was right. He does look very good. But in terms of outgoings, I think Rose is obviously gone. Foyth can be sold or loaned. I don't really mind. If someone offered me good money for Lamela, probably take that. If it meant getting in a bigger name striker potentially, I'm trying to think. You've got like Cameron Carter-Vickers, Gazaniga as well as a potential one. Depending on what he sees for himself. So there's a lot of players there that we could sell, I think. Probably some I haven't named. But yeah, what are you thinking, Pete?
Yeah, I still would like us to. I know it's weird because we want to play a 4-3-3. I still would like to see us buy a 10 just to change it up.
Yeah.
Because I know you said, Jez, about potentially there's times when you want to go with a 2 and a 3 and then a 1, and we don't have someone in there to do it for us. And even if it was someone like, I wouldn't mind taking a look at Buendia, who was at Norwich last year, who is going to come and know he's not going to play, but can come on and try and play a pass because he's got it in him, and he's young enough to warrant it not being too expensive, and like more of a one for the future kind of thing. I still think we need a centre forward. We do, and I would go and give Southampton as much money as they want for Danny Ings. I think he's fantastic. I think they talked about it, and we've been linked, and they've said it's too difficult a deal to do, but I'd go and do that. I'd take that 50 mil that they're talking about for Skriniar, and I'd go and do it. I know it's euros, but I'd go and give it to Southampton for Ings ahead of Skriniar, I think. And I know we're shipping goals, but Tanganga's coming back, and hopefully he can. I mean, he's our player of the season. Don't forget.
He was.
And I do agree we do need a centre half, but I don't know. I'd be tempted to lean further forward the pitch to do it first. In terms of going out, I'd ship Dele out if you can get good money for him. Rose is gone, like you said. Foyth can go. Gazaniga can go. Like you said, Cameron Carter-Vickers. I think Skippy going out on loan is a good deal.
And Parrott.
Yeah, good for both of them. Yeah. Would I sell Dyer? Maybe. I'd say if we sold Dyer and bought another centre. I like Dyer, but I don't know. I still don't fully trust him. That's fair.
You don't look a starting centre half for a top 4 side, does he?
No.
I know it's early days maybe of him playing centre back, but it's a completely different position. People seem to think it's very easy to go from being a hold midfield to a centre back, or from going a centre back to right. They're all completely different arcs. It is. That's what's so impressive with a player that's able to play in so many different positions and so valuable to a team, a utility man, because it's very difficult. It's very, very difficult.
Yeah. I will say on Dyer, that might be a little bit harsh. He's one that if an offer came in, it might turn my head if I was Mourinho. I wouldn't be happy with it, but I might turn my head if it meant getting someone else in the door. I could spend that money elsewhere. I like him. I do like him, but I don't know. A bit like you said with Lamella. I love Lamella, but if the right offer came in for him, no one's bigger than the club. And if you think you can take that money and spend it elsewhere and improve the team, then who am I to say no?
Yeah, I think there's a big part of football of taking this sort of romance away. But there should be loyalty and there should be love for players, but you have to take that away and be pragmatic and think who needs to go.
Yeah.
With that being said, for example, if Lamella didn't have the injury problems that he did, I would be much quicker to listen to an offer for a Lucas Moura than I would for a Lamella.
Mm-hmm.
Bergwijn tonight really disappointed me how he played in the Europa game, but I like the idea of you've got Bergwijn, Sonny, Bale and Lamella would be my sort of, okay, nice. Like they can sort of rotate. As a 4, Moura's useful to be hard-working, but I wouldn't mind selling him if Lamella wasn't so injury prone. So I probably would listen to Lamella offers because, I mean, I've read that he loves it in London, so he wouldn't want to leave, which I get. It's quite difficult for us to sell players because you've got good facilities, the club's well run, great place, living in London, players are probably happy. But yeah, there's loads of people I'd ship out. Lamella, Dele, I'd be happy for, like all the lads you boys just said, 1-4. If Sessegnon to get loaned out, Skippy's been loaned out, Parrott.
Yeah.
More that you could definitely send out. Tanganga, I really want to see playing a lot of games. Wouldn't even consider him being loaned despite being young. Doko, I'd listen to offers for him.
Yes, I would as well.
Aurier, yes, but if we're not going to get a right back, probably
dangerous. Isn't it?
You want 2 in each position at least. So yeah, having a big squad's useful, but 100% need a shot to get people gone. And I think always find that hard. Levy is a master negotiator for bringing players in. He's superb at getting that price down. But I think some teams are just like, I don't want to have to negotiate with him because he's going to make it so hard to get that.
He's a strange one in that he wants to sell players, but only for the price that he wants to sell them at.
Yeah.
So it's literally like, you say someone offered you 10 million for Rose or whatever. He wants 12.
Yeah.
And that's it. And it's like, that 2 million is make or break. You either pay or you don't. And it's really interesting. But like I say, there's 2 weeks left, I think, of the window. So teams are going to get, I want to say concerned, but with coronavirus, they might just be willing to drop that 5 million or whatever it might be that makes the deals go through. So I think we've got a busy 2 weeks coming up.
You'll be negotiating with Levy and you say, sorry, Pete. You'll be
That's
like,
right.
I'll offer you 10, 15, 11, 15. You're not changing, actually.
Yeah.
15. So I paid 15.
I was just going to say, plus you've got that extension on the window just in this country as well to the 16th, isn't there?
So I think that's when we'll see the Clarks and whatnot, players like him go out on loan. Like Harvey White, Jack Clark, Sessman, we'll probably go out to loan then.
I heard there's a lot of suitors for Sess, and I also heard we're putting a deal in where whoever loans him have to play him left back, which
left back. I heard that as well.
I really, really like that. The theory, I guess, being that, Sess will come back and after his loan period, if maybe there's another loan, and then either Reguilon stays and we've got 2 great left backs, 2 great young, hungry left backs, or we've developed a superb young English left back and unfortunately the young Spaniard who dreamed of playing in his country maybe has gone back to Madrid, which you'd have to kind of accept. But fingers crossed, he stays forever. I haven't even seen him play yet. Well, for us. We can only finish, boys, with the big question. I mean, I'll ask it to you for both games. So in terms of the Southampton game, and then in terms of the game against Alli, what are they called?
The Pride of Macedonia.
The Pride of Macedonia. Are you or are you not entertained? Pete, you first.
On the whole, yes. I'm still riding the wave of Bale and Reguilon coming in, to be honest. I'm just itching to see him play. Hopefully Regs plays on Sunday.
Absolutely.
I will say for Southampton, very entertained. And for the Pride of Macedonia, slightly entertained that we won and it's job done.
Yeah, I would agree with both points, actually, because, the games as a whole, one was much better than the other. What can you expect, though, when you seem to sing? But as a whole, like Pete said, don't underestimate momentum. And now one in the bounce, albeit 2 of them, Plovdiv and Plovdiv.
The king is home!
The king is back. And, guys, subscribe. And as I said before, please like us. Please love us.
But not you, Danny Murphy, off of Match of the Day.